Mike McDonald and Vrabel is a hell of a deal. I'm not on time. You got to blame. You can blame Nathan. You can blame Nathan. Nathan's the guy that screwed that all up. I really don't have an opening statement, so if you guys want to start, you can start.
Todd, can you start with Shador, and what have you found out about Shador as you have watched film since you got the job until now? How do you feel about him? And you once said that you think that he still has a long way to go in his development. Do you think he can make up that ground and possibly be ready to start on a
Sure he can. I think what you see is elite playmaking ability. That's in him. You've seen it. We've seen it. You saw it in college. You saw it on tape last year. Sure, there's a ways to go, but what rookie isn't? I mean, what first-year player doesn't have a long way to go? So I'm excited to get started with him and all of our quarterbacks and all of our players.
Do you feel like you have to have QB1 set going into training camp, or is that something you open, Shador, Deshaun, whatever QB?
You would hope that that's the case. You would hope that by the time you get to training camp that the reps that you're giving to a quarterback is for your starter. Whether we get to that place, I don't know. That'll be determined in the offseason as part of it. It's just another part of the piece.
I haven't heard you use the phrase open competition yet at that position. Is there an open competition?
Sure. I think it's an open competition. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be an open competition. And I don't mean that saying it harshly, but I don't think there's enough on film over the last couple of years, one way or the other, to say, boy, we have a starter quarterback yet, whether internally or externally.
Do you feel it's important to add an external quarterback to that mix?
I wouldn't say it's important to, but we're going to do our due diligence to make sure that our roster, that we put ourselves in the best position we can to score points, which starts with that position.
Todd, you've been busy assembling your staff, but have you been able to familiarize yourself with the entire roster through video review?
No.
When will that happen?
Oh, starting this week. When we get back, we'll have a chance to. I think I have a pretty good idea offensively. That's probably where it started in terms of as we're getting closer to free agency. But I'll get a chance the next few weeks to be able to take a deeper dive into the whole roster.
Todd, as far as the quarterback position is concerned, you work with so many different styles of quarterbacks. That's going on most recently. But you mentioned the one thing you look for is kind of that it factor. But like when you're evaluating guys, especially coming out of college, what are like the traits that you're looking for?
Well, first off, anybody that's coming out in the draft, quarterback or any position, you've got to do a great job, which our scouting department does, of vetting people that have been around them for an extended period of time, because 20 minutes or an interview doesn't do it justice. I mean, you've got to make sure that the people that they've been around are able to say the words that you're looking for in terms of how they carry themselves, how they are on a day-to-day basis, how they are around their teammates, how are they third downs, 2-minute, critical situations. All of that comes into play.
Andrew yesterday talked about your Ravens offensive line had some power, had some movement. Do you have preferences on your tackles, your guards, your centers? Some of them power, more movement oriented, those kind of things? Or are you just looking for the best players at those positions?
Well, it's like every position, right? Big, fast, physical, can move, can pull, can all those things you're going to look for ideally. But ultimately, like I've told them, is take the best players that will make it work. Now, it's a little bit different when you're talking about tackle, guard, and center, and the differences in terms of their skill set. But I think you can win with power guards. I think you can win with lighter guards that can pull and get on the perimeter. I think you can win with tackles that, can play with power, and ones that you'd rather have in a wide zone scheme. To me, what you're looking for most of all is consistency, because you can coach around, if they're tough and they're consistent, then I think you can coach around that and scheme that. But if they're not physically tough consistently, and their day-to-day is inconsistent, very hard game day.
What difficulty is it to mesh? Defensive side is almost all returning coaches from last year, except for Mike. And then the offensive side, it seems like it's a lot more guys coming. What's that meshing process like of meshing different personalities, different backgrounds, all of that together?
Well, it's part of it. I mean, I do think when you're putting a staff together, you're talking about developers, and then there's schemers. I mean, And then if you're lucky enough to find guys that are elite at developing and scheming, a lot of times they end up being coordinators or head coaches. So you got to have a great mix of those two that not only develop your roster, but then game day or during the week leading up to game day, you put your best foot forward in terms of tactically getting after opponents. So I think we've got a great mix of this, but this is also the NFL and everybody's paid to do a job. So the mix is real simple, right? I mean, we'll never forget that we have a job for our players and developing our players and coming up with the best plan possible. And that mixing part of it, I've never been around where it doesn't work that way. And if someone doesn't mix, then we pivot and go the other way.
Todd, to follow up on that and just the staff with Mike, what was impressive about him through the interview process and just with him being the first time he's
Well, first of all, he came highly recommended by people that I respect in the profession. That was first and foremost. We were looking for somebody that had been a part of the same system or scheme, 4-down attack style defense. And so we started with that, because you're going to start people that were a part of that, coaches that were a part of that scheme, and see if they fit what we're looking for in terms of leading the men in that room on that side of the ball. Or you interview others that aren't really part of that scheme, but you feel like are the right guys in front of the players and our staff, but would learn that style. And we found a number of candidates we thought fit that. And when he interviewed, his energy, his juice, his vision for not only what we had from a player's standpoint, but what they'd done in the past and how he felt like he could take another step forward. And it just popped. What's that? How much time do we have? Oh, he's elite in a lot of areas. I've said this many times. He's got a gift for confronting anything that gets in the way of winning football without being confrontational. He just does. It's unique. He doesn't let it, linger. He'll come right down the hall and say, this isn't good enough. What can we do to change it? Where are we at? And the other thing is the off season's no joke. John, it's football every day, man. It is. How are we going to get better? Every year I was with the Ravens, it was offense 2.0, offense 3.0. What are we going to do to improve? Take advantage of our players' skill set. So he's nonstop. He's about winning football.
Todd, in terms of John made clear that when he came to the Giants, he wanted to be I mean, in your head, thinking about that, come and when you started to look at the Giants and Jackson Dart and all those things?
Of course. Of course. I was hopeful that I would get the Cleveland Browns head coaching job. That'd be silly to say that I wasn't hopeful of that. But I was excited to go to New York with Coach.
Todd, in your 2 years working with Chip Lindsey at Southern Miss, what have you asked you about him, and what was it like collaborating with him?
Man, we get a Chip Lindsey question.
From Missouri.
From Missouri. Well, first off, Chip Lindsey, we hired him from Spain Park High School. He was Nick Mullen's high school coach who still plays for the Jaguars. And so we hired him at Southern Miss. Philosophically, we were aligned at that time. We were running air raid. It's 4 wide. You're throwing it around, minimal run schemes, and he fit what we were looking for at that time. But he's an elite football coach, connects with the players, great staff guy, adaptable systematically. He's not aligned to just one scheme. And we would have never done what we did at Southern Miss without him, because I turned the play calling over to him, and it allowed me to be a hell of a lot better head coach.
Yesterday, Andrew Berry said he wants to give Antonio his space and time to make a decision on whether to come back. Have you and Warhol talked to Antonio at all?
He came up to the office a few weeks ago, and we tried to talk him into it right then. But he was not in that position yet to say he wanted to come back. I'm for really good football players, and I'm for really good football players that are wired like Joel. There's not many wired like Joel. Like what he says, how he carries himself, how he prepares. It's unbelievable. He's a rare I mean, how many years has he played? How many years was it that he's played now? 12 years? And the pounding he's taken and continued to play at such a high level.
To have that at least one anchor who can count on the offensive line, does that add to its value?
100%.
Coach, you talked about John Harbaugh's gifts as a coach. What do you think your best gifts are as a coach?
Oh, I don't. I'm not very good at talking about me. I don't know. Maybe a lot of guys are. I don't know. It's coaching football.
Is there anything in,
When you look at Deshaun Watson working out down in Florida, I don't know if you've seen any of that, but what gives you the confidence, perhaps, that Deshaun Watson, who hasn't really started the full season since 2020, can come in here and make a legitimate run at the starting job for you guys?
I think any time that you have a player that at one time has exhibited the skill set at an elite level, I think you're always going to give them the benefit of the doubt that somehow we might be able to get that out of them again. And I think that's how you should look at every player. I've said that. You guys have heard me say it. I'm going to let it play out. I think it'd be completely unfair, just like it would be in any classroom setting, be it a history exam, and all the students walk in, and before they're actually given the exam, you give them a grade. Well, how would you give them a grade? Based on male, female, race, how they look, how they're dressed? I think that's unfair. Now, you're going to have some preconceived notions, obviously, because we have prior evidence, but that's up. I don't decide who plays. The players decide who plays. I've never decided who plays. I don't know. You'll have to ask him. I don't know how he'll view that. I know that I'm excited to work with him. I'm excited to work with all of our players on the roster. That's what you're paid to do as a coach. Just like Andrew's going to trust what we call on 4th and 1, I'm going to trust him that we're going to put an elite roster together. It allows us to build a consistent winner.
Coach, you're 4 weeks into, or 4 or so weeks into being a head coach in the NFL. Anything stood out to you, surprised you about the role, things you've had to do, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, all the stuff you don't want to do. It's scheduling. It's the off-season schedule. It's everything besides the X's and O's. I say that jokingly, but there is a lot more that comes with it. I talked to a number of guys, said that's exactly what it is. It's your off-season schedule. It's everything within the building that you, whether it's from the training room, right, to the players' rehab, to the weight room, to you name it, what we're going to do in the off-season, how you're going to find the players. That's so far down the road, I don't even know yet.
With your experience, I know Harbaugh had a pretty strict regimen in his schedule. What's the biggest key that you learned to finding that balance between work ethic and quality of the shows where you can be?
Oh, I think we got it pretty good. I don't see it that way. Like I mean, we get to coach football for a living. Like I don't understand how hard that is when people say, "Boy, the season is long." It is, and it's hard. But anybody that says that it's a grind, but holy shit, we coach football for a living. We're in the NFL, for God's sake. We get to be around great players and get to do it. Get to do this. It's so cool.
Do you have any other positions?
When you say you haven't gotten a chance to look at your roster, does that also mean you haven't been able to dig in on any of the college prospects yet?
Oh, I've dug into that because obviously heading to the combine, I had to get a little preview of that, and then some of the free agents.
Have you gotten a chance to look at the tackles and receivers and decide how good a classes they have?
Haven't really got that far into it. I've had a little bit of a taste, and I'm excited about the prospects that are going to be there when we pick it, whether it be 6 or 24 in the second round.
Do you have any positions on your staff to fill?
Assistant defensive line, and then we'll be done. We're interviewing guys as we speak.
Going back to you adjusting to life as a head coach now, obviously Baltimore didn't end the way you guys ultimately wanted. What did you kind of take from that experience in terms of things you might look at doing differently or learn from or whatever the case may be?
Well, unfortunately, we didn't play winning football enough. I'm just going to speak to the offensive side because I can't speak to special teams or defense. I can only speak to, unfortunately, injuries, untimely turnovers, certainly things I could have done better as an offensive coordinator. Just didn't play winning football enough, and that's the way it is. It went that way, unfortunately, and I wouldn't say there's really anything that I learned differently other than all those little things matter. There's certain things from a day-to-day basis, from a coaching accountability, from a playing accountability, that when you're trying to find those margins that allow you to win those close games that we did have, and we just didn't find a way to win those. In the years previous, we did.
Todd, sort of expanding on that, I feel like I know what you're going to say here. Those margins were so tiny, obviously, the season, NFL officiating was talked about as the probably would overturn the pick that was initially returning Aaron Rodgers on his own pass. Do you ever think of any of those moments from this past season? Calls that might have gone either way, plays that might have gone either way, so maybe the difference between you being here or still being with the Ravens?
Not really. I mean, I'm not one to send in a ton of clips to the officials. I think they've got as hard a job as any. Just they're going to make mistakes like we make mistakes. I've never called a perfect game. A player's never played a perfect game. Officials have never called a perfect game. That's part of what we do. That's the imperfection of life. And so, to me, that had not. How do we know that? I don't have any idea at the end of the game how that would have turned out, that game or any other game.
Todd, going back to kind of the staff, Travis you bring over from Baltimore, George comes over from Baltimore. That core, those important spots, especially on the offensive staff, how important was it to have guys you had worked with previously, in Baltimore or other places?
I said that at the press conference, that it's critically important. And when I talked about what really makes one side of the ball the other go, which is really good players. Okay, you need really good players. Okay, then you need really good staff, because you can't do it alone. The way to call a game is to have really good players, have really good staff that helps put the plan together, and then you can call the game freely. So having George come over, Travis, who was our run game coordinator there, Danny Breyer, Ian Colsty, Mike Bajakian, a quarterback coach I worked with at Tampa, Jeff Blasco I worked with here at 19, allows you to get up to speed quickly. And sure, the playbook for those other guys isn't the same as it was when we worked previously, but philosophically we're still connected.
How do you go about writing a brand new playbook? Or is it proprietary ownership of Baltimore? You bring that over or what?
Well, it's hard to say. All the Ravens are in our division. They've got all our stuff. We're going to have to change some of it, for God's sakes. I mean, we can't keep the same calls. But you are who you are. I mean, what you believe in is what you believe in. You can't just flip. You may flip some terminology. There's some things you're going to have to flip terminology-wise, but what you believe in, how you attack people, how you go about your daily routine, your coaching staff has got to stay the same. That's why you got the job. You completely flip, then you're screwed. I mean, I don't know how you can do that. Anything in life, you have your belief system, and then you go with it.
What do you think
Last
about
one.
Ty Simpson so far? Have you had a chance to really study him, and what are your thoughts on him?
I liked Ty when he was coming out. When I first got to Georgia, they hadn't offered him, and I went up there and talked to his dad. In fact, his dad, Jason, is a Southern Miss alum, and I was head coach at Southern Miss. So got to know them really well. Really fond of Ty. Obviously, really good football player. Fired up for him, because in today's day and age, for him to stay as long as he did at Alabama and then get a chance to be the starting quarterback is pretty cool. I mean, that is really cool for him to live out his dream at the school he chose, whatever it was 3 or 4 years ago. I've lost track how many years it's been. What has it been, 3 years? Ty? 3 years, so. That's it?
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.